Hello there, and welcome to round 7 of Global Formula Automobilista Season 2, where here we are at the British Grand Prix returning to Donington Park, which produced one of the best races of last season. Taking pole at his home round is Lewis Hamilton, in what cash racing would probably call closest to home round as the Irish team. UK is I suppose the closest track to them. So Hamilton on pole, and Valentino Rossi in the Siggy Pop. Currently fourth in the championship. Can he climb up towards the Cascars? Sebastian Vettel, who he's had 3-point scorers in a row now, he's climbed himself up to third. So Harvey coming up strong, ahead of Chris Hoy, who's looking for a strong result, having had that win in Argentina and then being pretty much midfield or back marker for the rest of the season. Jim Clark is in 5th, Siggy Pop trying to exercise his demons of 2 DNFs in a row, which have kind of derailed his title bid so far. Bertrand Gachot and other drivers had 2 DNFs in a row or non-point scores who needs to climb back up. And Sterling Moss in 7th place for Red Knight. Jenson Button takes 8th, ahead of Gilles Villeneuve, who got up into 4th place last round, and Kamu Kobayashi is high-tech, slipping down the grid in qualifying at least. Last race winner in Championship leader Taki Nue takes 11th place, ahead of David Brabham in 12th and Phil Hill in 13th, who got the Excelsior into the points last time very strongly. Max Verstappen starting 14th, ahead of Stefan Beloff, podium sitter in the last race. Third in the Championship, Nick Heidfeld, double race winner, 4 pole positions, but it's 16th today. Amon Fangio in 17th, Pierre Flausch in 18th, Felix da Costa taking 19th, Gurney in 20th. Michael Schumacher, fresh from moving himself off the bottom of the pile, managed to score 2 points last time out, meaning all drivers have points so far. Ayrton takes 22nd, Prost 23rd, John Watson 24th, Hackman 25th, Perez 26th, Hill 27th, and Manson 28th. That is AI control, so we should hopefully be fine to start the race. So yes, George GP filling out the back row of the grid. I will just check that we have got AI control, we're good. Lights are out and away we go. Hamilton takes lead, chops off Rossi pretty damn quickly. We've got Rossi going up the inside of Hamilton into turn 1. What's he going to do about it? He's going to try and get him, and Hamilton's actually dropping away back as Vettel's thinking about getting past. Here's Hoy sat there in 4th, Clark behind. Gachot and Villeneuve. Moss and Buff and Kobayashi straight through. With the yellow flags, that's Hoy off. Hoy and Clark have collided. Let's get a replay of that. So, down through Schwantz into McLean's. Clark sent it up the inside. Oh, Clark spun and just pushed Chris Hoy out the way, and Hoy's in the gravel. Beloff has had to send through the gravel as well. Hoy gets going, but he's right at the back now, as that hasn't worked. Yeah, no, let me sort that out. Kobayashi there with the Nue and Moss. The Nue's up back to 8th now after all of this. We've got another yellow flag in the background as we've got more cars off. It's Heidfeld in the gravel now. What's happened to Heidfeld? Has he had a go at someone? He's had a bit of contact with Verstappen, he's hit Brabham. Oh, he's just had a twitch and gone off into the gravel. Had to wait, he's rejoining. See where that ends him up. So Hoy's now stuck at the back again. He's already having a look at Damon Hill. There's contact with Hill even. Don't worry. Okay, so Rossi's in the lead. Hamilton is second, but hounding him massively. See what he can do. Vettel is third and currently trying to work out whether he can catch up or not. And Gasho is falling back, but he's up to fourth, so that's impressive, I suppose. The yellow flag is the AI car that didn't clear itself. Is yeah, it'll hopefully sort itself out at some point. Villeneuve up to fifth for ninth on the grid. That's a brilliant start from the Bravera. Kobayashi's up to sixth. He's up another 4 places in the new A as well. So there's a good bunch of drivers who dropped out. There we go. Commentator's gone. Moss is down. Phil Hill up to ninth. That's a really good start already from Excelsior. And we've got a lot more. Gurney up 6, and Watson up to 16th already. He's up 8 places as Belloff has a look. Kosta's got the Bangalores, Hakkinen and the Falcons all battling. So that's 3 wide there as Clark has got through on Chris Hoy. Heidfeld's up ahead of Mansell. Mansell's dropped back somewhere. Where's he then? So that's how Hoy got. So Hoy's pushed Mansell wide. That's why Hoy's lost out to Clark. Mansell's rejoined them in passed by Heidfeld. So we've got some action here at the back. But Rossi still leads over Hamilton. So Rossi up. Off the line. I'll just get a behind view so we can see what Rossi's seeing behind him. Actually, Hamilton's more under pressure from Vettel than he is pressurising the race leader himself. Setting up the straight, it has corrected, but it's a long race and it can all shuffle around. CD Popper managed to upgrade to, well, they got full power and full downforce, but as you can see from this rear wing, Cass Racing, their big purchase over the break between races was a high downforce package. So Cass Racing, they got the power and everything, and as we head to a downforce laden circuit, they've got the grip for the corners. So we'll see how this runs. Gasher is staring back at Villeneuve, who's got Kobayashi all in his mirrors. So he's got to sit there kind of in the middle of this group as Valentino Rossi sets fastest lap. Hill in 9th place, that's a strong start from him. Max Verstappen there, one of only 4 cars left on the track that haven't got high downforce. So, low downforce package for NLE. He's not the highest low downforce car because that is, I think, Phil Hill. Yes. Hill in the Excelsior. If Excelsior can get a good strong result, I might have the money to upgrade. But I think Hoy and Hill have dropped back again. Hoy's lost his front wing. Okay, so Chris Hoy's had one of those disastrous starts to a race we've seen in a long time. He's been through the gravel at least twice, he's dropped to the back twice, and now he's got no front wing because... Oh, this time, again, this time it wasn't his fault. So, yeah, Hoy, he's had 3 crashes and only one of them really was his fault. When he had here with Mansell, but he's hit both Jaws GP cars. And, well, the Argentinian race winner, or the Argentinian Grand Prix race winner, because Fangio's Argentinian, you get what I mean, but everything that could have gone wrong for Chris Hoy has. The only good thing is he's still going, but yeah, he's going to spend a lot of his race getting out of the way of the leaders. So Heidfeld and Clark, early championship contenders, 3rd and 5th in the championship here, scrapping over 24th place with the Falcons, who had a pretty disastrous season really. Oh, Heidfeld's hit Senna and bounced into Clark there. I'll just get on board. I've just missed the camera that I'm looking for about 3 times. So Clark has just forced Senna wide. Senna's got a better exit. Albo's had some wheel spin. Upper brakes tried it, had a bit of contact and rammed into the back of Clark. And luckily for the both of them, their wings are still intact, but Heidfeld couldn't have a worse race really, and then all that, Clark is past Senna. John Watson's been shuffled back to 18th after climbing to 16th off the start. Belloff is challenging Gurney. Fangio is following Bradman, getting pretty close actually. Not quite close enough to make an overtake into the plane, but you get what you get. So the Niue is up even more. Kobayashi's up to 5th. Who else dropped back then? Has Villeneuve perhaps been shuffled back? I can't remember. He was up higher. Maybe he was actually. I'll have to check because I think Villeneuve was in 4th, was he? Yes, it looks like he's been passed a few times. Ah! So Villeneuve, yes, he was in 5th place, I think it was. Yes, he's just run a bit wide. So Kobayashi and Niue have got through. He's got better exits, so he's been able to challenge Niue back down the straight, but Moss has got the inside line and he's going to force him there. Hill takes to the grass because reasons. Because Moss and Niue have a challenge, but Moss keeps it. So Moss is 7th and Inue's up to 6th. Kobayashi's 5th. Gasho is 4th and challenging Vettel. Hamilton is there and Rossi, after setting the fastest lap, is going to find Damon Hill exiting the pits right in front of him. Now we saw the last time they were racing here that blue flags are waved around this track, but backmarkers don't really obey them very well because the straights aren't that long and it's quite tricky to let someone through. And that's when you try and let them through. Is Rossi goes to the inside of Hill into McLaren's. That's a fairly easy move. Hamilton now is going to try and do something back. There you go. Oh, no, Hill's going through. I'll be fair to him. That's some pretty good blue flagging. Hill did leave them both space pretty much at the first available opportunity. Saying that, I think Vettel's just caught Hill at a really awkward place. As Gasho's thinking now, can I capitalise on this? He's in the slipstream of Hill. Vettel's got the inside line. Yeah, Gasho's not quite able to do anything about that. Kobayashi's going to catch Hill next. Hill pulls to the inside at the hairpin. He's planning to let the high-tech through? Yes, he is. Let's see. Well, I mean, I say that. Kobayashi's pulling to 6th, he's now getting brake tested by the George GP car. Hill's on the exit. It's a really awkward place. Moss has been blocked. Villeneuve has been really blocked. That's going to give Phil Hill a chance. The Hills work each other out, but then Phil goes on the grass and we've got yellow flag now because he's gone so slow. Oh, that's really awkward. And that's let Dan Gurney get past Beloff as John Watson comes piling down the corners. Perez, what a move as Watson hits Hill now. Yeah, I said blue flags on this track were going to be a mess, and there we go. Jim Clark, what a legend, just flies right outside of Senna. In all this mess, he's got up both 2KF1s. There's chaos at the back as Hill. Senna spins and Schumacher's lost his front wing. Senna's now hit Prost. And Damon, I appreciate Prost has now been pushed onto the grass. What? Okay. Right, I just need to see that all again from multiple cameras. That was absolute madness. So he's trying to get out of everyone's way. Clark puts it inside of Watson. Watson's 4th wide. But it's Michael Schumacher's the one following. So he's following. Suddenly Damon Hill's there, and Schumacher's trying to get past, but Senna then spins, and Schumacher's front wing says goodbye. So 2KF1s make it up to 20th in a bit. Heidfeld's up to 2nd. Mansell's now got past Schumacher. Prost, Senna are trying to get there, and Chris Hoare is thinking, I'm going to have to do that in a few laps, and that's going to be painful. With all this, Clark's made up to 19th. He's only 4 places off the points now, and he's got the pace. Certainly to catch Perez and Felix and Beloff. Gurney now double points for Excelsior, which I'll be quite happy with. Bradman's shuffled down. Lush has gone up a bit. Fangio's done well. It's all a bit status quo at the moment towards the front. Hamilton and Rossi are trading fastest laps as they try and work out which of them is going to win this race. Still they need to backmarker and or get squeaky bum timed out this race, but you know, that's Global Formula Automobilista for you. Your race can go very well until random bouts of unluckiness just strike you out of absolutely nowhere. That should probably be the motto. GFA, random bouts of unluckiness. The lead gap is hovering just about under a second. Everyone else is in a bit status quo at the moment. We're just waiting for, I know, someone to catch someone else. Schumacher has exited the pits right in front of Chris Hoy. So Hoy is now thinking, right, first thing, if I can overtake Schumacher, that's an overtake and that's a bit of fun. Second thing, if I overtake Schumacher, he's going to hold up the lead and give me an extra 2 laps or so before they catch and overtake me. Sitting behind Schumacher as we start another lap. Lap 9 for him, it's going to be lap, yeah, about to head on to lap 10 with the leaders. Yeah, we'll just sit with Hamilton, see him chasing Rossi, so through Redgate, and through Hollywood, and as we head down the Craner curves, tricky fast section of corners, big braking into the old hairpin. Why they ever called it a hairpin in the first place, I don't know. It's not even 90 degrees. Under Starkeys through Schwantz curve and up into McLean's. Up the hill into Coppice, a kind of multi-apex corner that's just quite fun to drive really. Completely blind on entry. Dunlop Bridge has been gone for about 10 years now. As they head braking into Forgus, yes, it's a pretty fast chicane actually, if you don't slide like Hamilton just did. Over the crescent down into the Melbourne hairpin. Hairpin named after the nearby town of Melbourne. The correct and the best Melbourne, of course, as we all know. I know 2KF1, you're crying there, but we're right. To the final hairpin, which has got a name that I can't remember at this moment. And I could Google it, but and across the line. So as the leaders head down the Craners, backmarkers are going through old hairpin, so it's not going to take too long for these two to catch them up. Tell is now nearly 5 seconds off the lead. Gasher's keeping pretty close, about 16th behind, so there's groups of 2 at the moment. Kobayashi is being hounded by Nue, so that's going to be a battle that's going to end at some point, with probably Kobayashi being overtaken. Moss has kind of fallen away from the back, Villeneuve's not really with them. Hill's sticking around in 9th place, which is impressive in that car that's not really designed for this track. Button can't make any inroads, Verstappen's hanging on 11th. Fangio and Flörsch up next. Bradman and Beloff round out the points. Felix Costa is closing up on Gurney and Beloff. Gets a good exit here, he could have a move into that Melbourne hairpin. Not quite. But Felix Costa, we know, is a bold one. He'll send a big move if he needs to. Perez has got, there you go, Clark has made up 3 seconds between him and Watson and Perez. This isn't going to be long before there's a move. He's thinking about it into Redgate. A bit tricky, he was a bit too far back and the braking point is not the longest. Through the old hairpin. Clark closed up, it was a bit bad on entry. But he's got the slipstream He's thinking about it, but the racing line just locks you off naturally there. Oh, he's got a bit dodgy on the exit there. This will probably be a move done before the end of the lap. If he's not into Fogarty, it'll be into Melbourne. Yeah, he's closed right up here. He's got the power. He's got the skill. Up the inside, Jim Clark up into 18th place, so he's still not yet in the points, which I'm sure he'd be thrilled about. John Watson is holding off McCacken in the 2KF1 battle. As Heidfeld is still stuck in 22nd. He can't even get close to the 2KF1, let alone pass them. What is happening to our former championship leader? You know, he's got 2 wins, 4 pole positions. What's going on here, Nick? Mansell's 23rd and Cross 24th. Senna's Schumacher's actually managed to hold off Ollie for some time. Still ahead. It's actually surprising. And there you go, the leaders are turning up. It's Hoy has a think about it in Schumacher, but not enough to send a dive. It's not enough to send it. So Chris Hoy is languishing back in 27th now. He's just going to be stuck there for a long time, unless he can get past, because he needs to get past Schumacher and streak away. He's got a lot more power than Bangalore. Theoretically, it should be easy, but as we can see on this track, theory doesn't really work. Hamilton's got the gap down to 3/10, so he's really closing up behind Rossi now. You'd think this is going to be a move that's going to happen at some point. And if it doesn't happen on track, it'll probably happen in the pit window, whenever that comes. But 2 backmarkers up ahead, anything could happen. I mean, one of them could end up upside down if they get it really wrong with the backmarkers, but let's hope that doesn't happen, because that would kind of ruin the fun race that we've got lining up for us here. Of course, if you're Harvey or Polestar Performance, you're thinking, what, the lead is upside down and us going one into first to second and battling for the lead? Yes, please. We don't look like we've got the pace for it. Rossi, for some reason, defensive into the final corner. I'm not sure why. Hamilton's not quite that close. Anyway, through Redgate, it's 4/10 now, as Hamilton misses a gear on the exit and loses a lot of time there. It's 4/10, he just slipped away in one corner, or one section of corners, thanks to that miss of a gear. The Ashley has managed to fend off Inoue for the moment. Again, surprising. I thought Inoue would have found his way through, but given up to preserve the tyres. Moss is not really there. Hill has still got Button right behind him, but Button just can't find a way through. Staffen, Fangio and Flörsch are keeping them honest. There's a bit of a gap back to Brabham and Beloff up next. Gurney has got Felix da Costa still behind. Clark 18th. Clark is 2.4 seconds on Perez after overtaking, is now starting to catch up towards the guys in front, but that's Inoue having a chance. Look, it's actually no, Inoue's under pressure from Sterling Moss. So has there been a mistake somewhere? A bit out of shape through the chicane, and Moss has used that as a chance to get a launch out the corner. Check on the brakes. Is he? He's just putting his nose in and distracted Inoue enough to get side by side him to the final corner. Inoue's got the inside line. Moss on the outside. Inoue should have the position, and he does. But another mistake like that, and Moss will be through. Hamilton now is right on Rossi's tail, as it looks like Chris Hoy has got past Schumacher up ahead, so Michael Schumacher is going to be the first or sorry, the second driver to be lapped this race. It's quite early again, but that is due to the crash, as I think we have Jim Clark is out of this race. So there's a what's happened here? So he's catching up to Felix da Costa and he's lost it on the brakes, running wide, and he's found a gap. He's found a gap and he's got himself stuck there. What? We might be have a driver stuck in until he runs out of fuel purgatory, unfortunately, again. Oh no, he's out. He's given up. So Jim Clark is our first DNF of the race. So that is now three non-scores in a row for the driver who was, he's scored 2 podiums this year and he's doing really strong results. And since Road America, it's gone downhill. It really has gone downhill for Clark. But the only silver lining for CP Pop is that they are still leading this race. And just about leading this race, although Lewis Hamilton's doing everything he can, Rossi is having to defend a lot now. Rossi is taking defensive lines where he can, because you can see how close Hamilton actually is. And Hamilton's got the pace. I think he's got the pace to get in front and disappear. Rossi needs a miracle in the form of these back markers to clear him up here, because he's going to be hounded otherwise. Hamilton's just going to keep the pressure up. It's going to be constant. Further back, it looks like Sterling Moss is 5 tenths behind Inoue, and Inoue is nowhere near Kobayashi, so that's a battle that's going to keep developing, as Rossi's having to defend again from Hamilton. Rossi has to be very careful here, because Hamilton will get past if he has a chance. Look at that, again a defensive line, even though Hamilton was nowhere near him. And they're still catching up to Schumacher, although the defensive line means that it's not as quickly as you'd expect. Schumacher sat there kind of looking in the mirrors like, okay, you're there, you're catching, you're going to pass me, but can you like get over and done with, please? Seven tenths is gap now. Schumacher lets Rossi past in the range of Schweitz curve. And Hamilton is, power slides past Schumacher to really show that he didn't like him being there. I mean, I don't think Schumacher did anything wrong, he actually let him through, which is very nice of him. Schumacher now sat behind them. Chris Hoy, he will be lapped next. Senna, Prost and Mansell close. Heidfeld's, no, it's Tony's first because Clark's dropped out. Watson defended off Hackman for the moment. Perez is a bit further up. Felix da Costa can't get past Gurney. Bell and Bradman in a battle together. This loss hasn't changed, although Haley's really under pressure for a button now. Moss and Inoue have kind of stopped for the moment. Hamilton's another mistake out of Redgate. He's not having fun through there. Now Rossi's been doing kind of mid 114s in the last few laps. Now that Hamilton's a second and a bit off, he doesn't have to defend. What lap times are we going to do now? We'll see, but I think we're going to go back to third and fourth because Gasho is right on Vettel's tail again. 3 tenths is the gap between them. Do we have a performance difference between the pair? Harvey's got more power in the straight line, and that's probably the thing keeping him going. Is that Gasho seems to be driving that car a lot quicker. He's much better through the corners, but Intel's just got it down the straights enough that you can keep him at bay in the overtaking spots. So 1.2 seconds is now the lead gap, as Rossi's coming up to Hoy. He crosses that, yeah, we go. As soon as he's not defending, he finds about a second and lap time. Hoy chops back on Rossi down through turn 1. Lets him through in the craners. Although Hamilton is going to catch up at a really awkward spot. Old Hairpin's not the best place to let someone through. Hamilton closes up on Rossi on the brakes, but not on the exit as there's 1.3 seconds now, so the back markers have given Rossi enough of a respite to maybe continue as Hamilton is... Wow, he's kicked the tail out through there. Gasher now is thinking the same thing. You know, can the back markers give me a chance to get past Sebastian? Phil Hill's fended off Button for the moment. Hill doesn't have the power of that Harvey, but he does have the lower downforce, which, yeah, okay, this track doesn't really help. But here we go. Button's close enough now to launch an attack on Hill. Up the inside, got the move done. Hill finally wasn't far enough ahead out of one of the corners, and Button has made the move, got up into ninth place, so good move there for Jenson Button. I think there's a move in the background for Mansell was having a look at Hakkinen, as Heidfeld's got past Hakkinen recently as well. There's this, oh, so it's actually a late lunge. Oh, it's very close. Hacken's gone a bit wide in the planes. Heidfeld's got a kick oversteer, but he's got the downforce and the confidence to drive it. Oh, it's okay. Okay, I'm here trying to praise a good move, and then I see this. So Heidfeld has just completely shoved Micker off into the gravel. That would explain why Hakkinen is so far back and why Mansell has suddenly turned up behind Hakkinen and thought, ooh, I can have a move here. Yeah, he's got the lunge and he's thought about it. He's actually hit Hakkinen, but decided to lift off and allow Hakkinen through because, well, that wasn't the fairest of moves, I don't think. As Prost is now capitalising, Prost gets past Mansell, and Senna goes through as well. Although, they're side by side in the exit, Mansell chops ahead, so Mansell down to 23rd. Prost gets through and Hacken's 21st now. This cross takes a lot of curve through the corners for some unknown reason. Now, Button's not exactly pulled away from Phil Hill at the moment, as we ride on board with the American car into the chicane. Good job, but yeah, no, Verstappen's not close enough to grab. It's actually Fangio's close to Verstappen. The Red Knight and the NLE sandwich. Hamilton has closed the lead at the front, back down to 6/10, so the back marker's dealt with. Hamilton has shown that he does have the pace over Rossi, and has managed to close up a bit. Vettel's fending off Gasho for the moment. Kobayashi sat there in 5th as Inoue is closing back in, and Moss is keeping them honest there in 7th place. So these three are going to have a bit of a scrap. Villeneuve's 8th place. He's pretty calm at the moment because he's got 2.8 seconds back to Button. And all of this, David Brabham and Stefan Beloff have managed to just close the gap in front, so 9th to 15th is now a pretty close group. That's Fangio having a think about an attack on Verstappen, and now Flörsch are going through. So Flörsch has got past Fangio, and David Brabham's thinking, I can have a bit of this. So the side that Fangio has got enough of a lead, so but Brabham up the inside of the final hairpin. David Brabham up to 13th. Fangio's got the exit though. They head down the straight. Fangio on the inside line, Brabham there, and Beloff is going to capitalise, although Brabham's going to try it behind the outside, bit of a kick of oversteer. Fangio on the inside of the corners, but no, in the end they're back to where they were as they went out of the Melbourne hairpin. It was a spectacular scrap between the pair of them. Good moves from everyone, some opportunism, but some great driving to keep them back where they were, where they wanted to be. Slow shot now behind Verstappen, but all of this has allowed Phil Hill a chance to really streak away. 1.7 seconds now, so Button and Phil Hill have been in a breakaway group. Whereas in Nue, he's got Moss right behind him and Kobayashi right in front of him. Actually, Moss is having a think about a look here on Inoue. The championship leader and winner of the Canadian Grand Prix, not looking the happiest at the moment. Can't really get past Kobayashi, and Moss is not letting him go easily. In the red gate, and down through Hollywood and into the corner curves. And on the brakes, the old hairpin. I see the crowd around the circuit socially distancing. And Nue's managed to just get a couple of tenths over Moss through those first few corners. What can he do at Kobayashi? The answer so far is absolutely nothing. Kobayashi's been driving well and just doing enough to keep it. No, Moss isn't close enough. Bit of a concertina effect down into the hairpin. As they come out, Kobayashi's still ahead. Can't do anything. Here we go, so Vettel is now caught up to Michael Schumacher. Schumacher is wide, and there's actually contact between the two Germans. Gasher now trying to get past, but that is given. Yes, Vettel has gained time over Gasher and all of that. Kobayashi now squeezes through. He's going to park it on the back, and Moss has had to brake because Schumacher was there. So Inoue has fallen away, Moss has really fallen away. He's actually got Schumacher right in the way into Schweitzer into McLaren's. Moss goes through, cuts in front of Schumacher where he could. So Moss and Inoue have lost out there. Gasher has fallen a long way back from Vettel. This is the break that he needed. He's right up the front. Hamilton is keeping that pressure on. Keeping the pressure on Rossi. Rossi's not really going to let him go. As Chris Hoy is showing plenty of pace, he did have the pace to stay in this league group if he managed to avoid being, well, destroyed by everyone who saw him, basically, is the best way to describe it. Yeah, no, he's just basically waiting for Vettel to appear and him to get the blue flag. Now Phil Hill is closing the gap to Button. He's left Verstappen behind, and Hill might get past Button again. If he gets a chance, this could be a move. So I think now, actually Kobayashi is almost as close to Gasher as Gasher is to Vettel, so top six are now spread out by about a second between each of them. Let's see what happens if they close up. Yes, Hill is 4 tenths behind Button now, and that's through the corners. A twitch on the tail. Felix da Costa is still behind Hill as we've got Watson on the grass. Heidfeld running a bit wide. What's happened here down at the Coppice? So Heidfeld has caught up to Watson finally. Of course, this is very protected on the gravel. Oh, he's repeated the trick on the teammate. Watson has at least tried to keep it going on the grass, but Heidfeld is not happy about being stuck behind two KF1s, judging by this. He just shoves them off at Coppice. There's going to be a 2 KF1 line on that grass if they're not careful. So, Heidfeld not enjoying the disastrous race, now stuck in 19th well, he's up to 19th, but you know, the fact that, I mean, look at that graphic, he's just down 3 places. He's in 19th, he's only got down 3. He had an awful qualifying, and look where it's stuck in. Perez is pitting this lap, he's low on fuel. What's the cost going to know? So, we've seen we're getting close to the pit range. Yes, lots of cars getting close to fuel, so Gasho's coming in this lap. Yeah. Hamilton and Rossi, they're getting low on fuel, so they'll be coming in pretty soon. Rossi doesn't need to worry about Jim Clark stealing his pit garage, so again, silver linings, so you've got silver linings, you are still leading this race. Okay, top 2 are coming in this lap, so it's going to come down to the pit crews. Gasho really slowing down, and Kobayashi getting popped up in the chaos as Inoue is going to finally use this chance to get a slipstream down through turn 1 into the inside line. Kobayashi fights on the outside, they're both sliding. The Japanese drivers side by side down through the cane of curves, through Hollywood, but is it a Hollywood move? Yes it is. Inoue up into 4th place. Great move there. Utilised the fact that Kobayashi was slowed by Gasho as he entered the pits. Straight down the corners. Epic move. Moss is coming in this lap, Villeneuve coming in this lap, Phil Hill. Actually Hill has dropped a long way away from Button since the last time I checked. David Bram's coming in this lap. As Gasho's rejoining in 17th in nice bit of clear air, so that's handy to know. John Watson's pitting, Senna's pitting, Heidfeld and Perez have made their stops, as has Prost. Hoy, Schumacher and Hill shouldn't need to pit because they've already had to stop. So Rossi makes it in, Hamilton makes it in, 1.4 seconds between the pair of them. Vettel's going to come in this lap as well. So Taki Inoue should take the lead. Championship leader up in 1st place. Not surprising, but he's coming in this lap. Kobayashi also pitting. Rossi exiting the pits well ahead of Hamilton, so slightly quicker pit stop. As Button now trying to go around the outside of Schumacher and gets that done. Rossi exits the pits. Hamilton right into the battle with the NLEs and the Red Knights. Hamilton is really, really screwed over by that pit exit. I mean, yes, you screwed over, but at least he didn't lose his rear wing, because that's what I was about to be. You know, my mouth was getting ready to say, and Hamilton loses his rear wing. He gets lucky and avoids that. But there are now 3 cars between Rossi and Hamilton, and only one of them is planning to pit at the end of this lap as well. And of course, they don't need to jump out of the way. This isn't blue flags, this is position. They can do what they want. So I can also see on the leaderboard that Bertrand Gasho has managed to jump Vettel in the pit stop in 12th and 13th place. We've got a yellow flag up ahead actually. Someone got off. It's Kobayashi! Kamui Kobayashi, I think he's run out of fuel so close to the pit entry. Oh, he has. So disastrous race for high tech gets a little bit more worse. Yeah. English. Inoue has made it into the pits. Button's made it into the pits. So Rossi now retakes the lead as Verstappen's up to 2nd, and Fleur. So actually, NLE are double stacking. NLE double stacking? What are they doing? Who knows? Hamilton now is 4th and is 4 seconds off the lead. That pit exit has absolutely ruined his race. Now it's all calmed down. Let's watch that again. Better rewind. So Hamilton comes out the pits. You can just see in the bottom mirror that it's got a bit messy there. He's run a bit wide as he got a bit scared and jumped out of the way. You can see that, look at that. So you got Verstappen, Fangio and Flörsch. Hamilton's seen it and he's just lifted off the brake to avoid being run into the back. Fangio's been completely balked, so Flörsch has managed to get past. Hamilton just had to sit there and accept it. We'll try and find the onboard from Fangio. That was probably a bit exciting from his point of view. Yeah, Phil Hill's gone to the pits, so that's held up Verstappen, which is how Fangio's managed to get the run. Hamilton's appeared, or Fangio's hit the brakes because he could see Slush on the inside, and that was just, it was basically brake or crash. He didn't really have much other choice. Excellent reflexes, but for Lewis Hamilton's race, that's not been the most handy. So Inouye has actually managed, so Gasho is 5th. Inouye's actually managed to jump Vettel, so Vettel's had a poor in-lap or something in the pit stop. So Vettel's fallen behind both of these drivers. Moss is a long way back as we go. Phil Hill has got past Jenson Button in the pit stop, so well done to him. Fangio ahead of Bradman again and Bell off, with Felix da Costa up to 15th. However is now 18th. Hacken's passed by Prost as he exits the pits. Chris Hoyt 22nd now. Well, he's going to have to pit at some point. So Rossi leads Hamilton now trying to get past Flörsch. That's not going to end well because she's pitting, and that's, yeah, Hamilton's going to have to push past. Both enemies in the pit stop double stacking for fuel. What? Okay, they're somehow pitting in different pit stalls. That shouldn't happen, but and then they're exploiting that somehow. I mean, go for it. And Nue's jumped up to 5th place at all of this, especially as Kobayashi has dropped out. Moss is now 6th, and Villeneuve in 7th. Hill is up to 8th because he's got past Button, and Flörsch is exited in 10th, so Flörsch has jumped Verstappen in this pit window. Fangio, Bram, Beloff and Felix da Costa ran out the points as it stands. So having a look back, Michael Schumacher, unless he pits soon, is about to be lapped by Valentino Rossi. With the lead group all kind of split up as they are, it's going to have a bit less of an effect for the moment. One to look out for is so Damon Hill. He's out of sequence now, but he's between 16th and 17th. After he does the pit stop, he's probably going to appear kind of about where, well, as it was, he was behind the whole, he was a lap behind everyone. So he'll appear pretty behind, different behind Max, so probably around about where Schumacher is going to have to get lapped again. So, unfortunately, because he was the first to be lapped, he got lapped by everyone because they were still in the pack. It was quite early, and Hill's result now is just how squeaky bum time takes out everyone if he wants a point, basically. Starting Moss here. There's 1 second covering a new way down to Villeneuve in 7th, so we're 5th, 6th and 7th right with each other. We're right on board here with Villeneuve as he watches Moss trying to get rid of Inouye. So Inouye's had a bad run through the chicane, although Moss hasn't had the greatest one, and Villeneuve's thinking I can get involved here. Villeneuve having a dive here. Villeneuve up the inside of Moss. Well, that's... When I joined on board, I wasn't expecting that move to happen, and well, it's happened. So there we have it, Villeneuve up into 6th. Rossi's just lost a bit of time trying to lap Schumacher, but Schumacher's going to have to get lapped by Hamilton at some point. As these three are super close together now. If old Heffman was a bit slower, Villeneuve would have sent it there, I'm sure of it. He is close. He's really close as Verstappen has got past Button. He's appeared down through the craters. He has. How's that occurred? So into turn 1, Verstappen up the inside. Verstappen just keeps his nose in. Kicks the tail up Button onto the grass and almost spins off. Good move there from Verstappen, he scared Button off the track. Oh, Inui's tyres not too happy there, kicking the tail out. Inouye again is really wide to the first part of Fogarty S's. Is Villeneuve going to think about a send here? Not quite yet. But he's going to have to do something because Moss is there. Moss can do something crazy if he needs to. Moss could get past Villeneuve if Villeneuve's too calm. There's a bit of a clumsy clonk between the two of them. Moss clips Villeneuve's rear wheel as they go through the final corner and it slows them both down. They head down the Craners. Really steep bit of track that. Villeneuve has a bit of a twitch. That twitch is enough for Moss to get alongside. Moss has made the move on Gilles Villeneuve. So he's repaid the favour. He'll be down through Hollywood. It's all fine. Villeneuve's thinking, right, how can I get in there? He takes a little bit too much curve through the Craners, gets a twitch. And that's just enough for Moss to stick his front wing in and say, I will take that, thank you very much. But look, he's behind. Villeneuve's on the inside, gets that twitch, and Moss thinks, right, I'm going for it. Sends it up the inside, they both give each other enough space. They know that they'll throw away a lot of points, but try something stupid here. Moss gets through. Can he catch up to the Japanese and the Irish car up ahead of him? That's what he hopes for. Spangio now having to protect from Dave Bradman's 24th place is pitted, whoever the hell that is. That is Chris Hoy. So Hoy does make his pit stop and he is going to rejoin in the lead pack. Hamilton's gone through, Schumacher's got past Hoy in all this. There you go, there's Bertrand Gasher in third. As always rejoined to the circuit was not ideal, there's the blue flag. As he'll let Gasher through probably quite, hopefully painlessly, probably painfully. That to me looks very painful. He's got another blue flag for the next lot. So then, Valentino Rossi, 3.5 second lead, comfortable. Hamilton 6 seconds further ahead of Gasho, who's up next. Vettel having just got past some back markers. Hang on, Moss is up to 5th. That's happened while I was focusing on the battle for 25th. So, with me having said Inui's missed the apex of the Fogarty S's about 1 million laps in a row, Moss has caught up and finally thought, right, screw you, I'm going to use that to my advantage. Gets past into Melbourne hairpin. Great move there. And now Inui's in trouble because he's not really close and Villeneuve is close himself. So Inouye again, rubbish through the Fogarty S's. But just slow enough on the exit that Villeneuve has to get off the sprocket. I mean, I suppose there's one tactic. It's not a great tactic, but it worked, I think. Up the inside into the final turn, Gilles Villeneuve has put an overtake in on the championship leader. And I don't know how he's let that happen. It was Gurney and Perez. Perez has just let Heidfeld through. He's not even tried to defend that. So Heidfeld now having a look at Dan Gurney. So he's 17th. He's 2 places away from a point. So Heidfeld's been given the hurry up because they've said, oh, by the way, you're the only high tech left because Kamui ran out of fuel like an idiot. Didn't check his fuel gauge. So Heidfeld needs to score points here for high tech, former championship leaders. You know, Cass Racing are dominating here. And the 2 closest rivals are Siggy Pop and High Tech, both of which have now lost a driver this race. The 2 retirements are a Siggy Pop and a High Tech. Heidfeld, nice clean move up the inside, and Gurney goes off track in sympathy, and he's lost his rear wing, and Pereira's lost his front wing. So Bangalore lose another front wing on the excellent McLaren's. So Heidfeld, who's had a look through Schwartz, he's sent it to the inside of McLaren's. Really clean move. Gurney's just been scared wide, and Perez should have seen him rejoining. Gurney didn't rejoin safely. Perez didn't think, oh, he's going to rejoin badly, and they both lost some wings. So looks like we've got some more drivers to head towards the back marker fodder. Heidfeld now 1.4 seconds off a point, so that's Felix Acosta. So Newey's down 7th for Cass, which is going to be like a tiny respite with the others. But with Hamilton in 2nd, he's 3 seconds off the leader though. Trying to put a lap on Damon Hill into positive S. He's got it easily. Down the straight with the museum next to it. So Ross's 2.8 second lead is now looking pretty comfortable. Gasho's got 1.8 seconds on Patel, so that move worked and that's quite comfortable. Moss has got 2 seconds already on Villeneuve because Villeneuve had to get past Inouye. They held each other up, and Inouye just hasn't been great before GTS, and that's all his time's gone. I mean, to be honest, Phil Hill could catch him up here. He could. That's an amazing thing to say. Well, if you stick around, that's for Stafford. And they've all pulled away from Jenson Button. Fangio now under pressure from Brabham, as Brabham just goes to the inside, forces Fangio wide. Fangio gets the better exit, not as much wheel spin. Into the final corner we go. No, Brabham has fallen down. Although they're still side by side down the start straight. So Brabham's got the inside line, Fangio's got his nose slightly ahead. Turning into the corner, Fangio's out there, but Brabham kicks the tail out. It's going to have to be another Hollywood pass through Hollywood. Brabham's got the lead through the Craners. Fangio's going to try and keep it there, but he's not got it. David Brabham up into 12th place. Spectacular move right there. I think we've got some more action further down. Oh, it's Gurney and Perez pitting, that's what it is. I thought it was something a bit more exciting. That's how when you watch the leaderboard and don't pay attention to the names enough and try and remember what happened to them earlier. So Brabham has come ahead. Brabham has come out ahead in all this. But Fangio and Beloff are stuck around. His Heidfeld has got past Felix Acosta somewhere. Up in 15th place. So lap 39, let's have a quick rundown who's still going. So in the lead, Valentino Rossi for Ziggy Pop Racing. Started 2nd on the grid, so good start, good first lap, and he's kept the lead since. Hamilton in 2nd place, doing what he can, but backmarkers have not helped him, and a really awful pit exit has ruined his race. He needs to show some pace now to catch up to Rossi. Bertrand Gasho is trying to put a lap on Damon Hill. He's in 3rd, he's up 3 places. Could we get another podium for Polestar? Sebastian Vettel down 1 place from the start place, but 4th is still a spectacular placing for Harvey, who had a podium in the first race but have been nowhere ever since really. Sterling Moss up to 5th. He had some good moves recently to get up this far. Gilles Villeneuve is 6th, up from 9th place. Taki Inoue up from 11th on the grid, but he's only up to 7th, and he's had the pace to be in a higher position, but never really used it. And instead it's just been swallowed up by some quicker drivers. Phil Hill up into 8th is one of the star drivers so far, up 5 places with Zelsior, the highest placed car without high downforces. He's actually, it was 3 seconds was the gap between him and Inoue last time I checked. It's now 1.6. Severe Flourish up from 18th on the grid to 9th. That's a brilliant drive. If he's got past the teammate Max Verstappen, in 10th place. Jensen bottomed down to 11th. David Brabham back to 12th where he started, and Fangio up to 13th. Beloff is 14th, and Heidfeld up one place to 15th, but having dropped to the back quite early on after a trip through the gravel on the first lap, consigned him to the back of the grid. Felix da Costa up into 16th. Ed Alain Prost, who's been in the slightly eventful Falcon races. John Watts up into 18th. Hakkinen 19th, both of which have been pushed off track by Heidfeld. They're keeping out of trouble so far, and, you know, dare I say it, close to points. Senna's 20th, Max is 21st at 7. Chris Hoy started so well and then got pushed off, and then everything that could have gone wrong in those first few laps did go wrong for Chris Hoy. Perez lost his front wing recently and is now kind of in the hell of trying to battle down Gurney Walls for being lapped by pretty much everyone. Damon Hill, last driver running, with Kuro Kobayashi and Jim Clark not going anymore. That's backmarker, so yeah, in a way it's 4.2 seconds now to come in front of him, which is your Villeneuve, and with a pair of backmarkers in the way, and he's got Phil Hill catching up to him. So in terms of races as a championship leader, this isn't the greatest for, in a way. He's struggling around the hairpins. It's less than a second now as the gap back to Hill. I don't know what's got into Nue, but it's not that great, and he is struggling. He really is not enjoying these tyres or these track conditions. Or I don't even know what could be the issue. It's not back markers, I know that, because he's not even close enough to them. Heidfeld's up to 14, he's got past Beloff somewhere, didn't notice that until just now. He's 3 seconds down the road, so unless he's recently shoved Beloff off the road, I presume that's too far back for me to bother rewinding to. The gap at the front has increased now. Rossi's pulled 4 seconds at Hamilton. That is a surprise because they were a lot closer before. Doing, having to go defensive. That's how much he's struggling. Wow. The championship leader here being hounded by a team in 12th place at Constructors' Championship. You know, Phil Hill's 17th. He's behind a driver that's competed in half the races that Hill's been involved. You know, this is race 6 in the championship, or this is race 7 in the championship for Hill. Charles Leclerc having the same amount of points as Hill, and only done 3 races in his career, and then his team withdrew. But this is it. This is probably Phil Hill's best chance. The Nue is being held up by Damon Hill, the back marker. There's contact between Nue and Hill. The Hills working together here, although Taki didn't do too badly on the exits. Hill got held up. And that has allowed Flourish to appear in position. Hakkinen has got past John Watson. Gurney's coming in, even Perez in this battle. It's Phil Hill now right behind Inoue into Melbourne hairpin. Sophia Flourish has joined in the fun. Around the final hairpin they go. Hill in a bit of sandwich here. Through the other hairpin we go. Once again. We're on lap 43 of 77. We've done 43 laps, so we're on lap 44, sorry. Now, is Inoue going to hit the apex? Oh, of course he isn't. You'd think by now, having lost out so many times because of that apex, that Taki would have worked out that that's not what he needs to do. And actually, Flourish has sent it up the inside of Hill there. I hadn't even noticed. Over the shoulder camera view, obviously on the wrong side for the overtake that happened. Flourish gets the run. Flourish makes the move. So well done to the young German. She got her best result last time out with a, what's that, 6th place? Yeah, it must be 6th place in Canada. So after not scoring for ages, she suddenly gets 6 points and then 10 points 2 races in a row. So the trip to North America really gave Flourish the confidence she needed to score a load of points. He's up ahead of this pair, is it? Inoue is actually coming in this lap, so he's got a real issue. Up ahead of this pack, so Villeneuve has fallen almost 5 seconds away from Moss, as Moss has even had to lap Chris Hoy and all of that. So Villeneuve's pace has disappeared now that Moss has got past Inoue. Vettel is 2 seconds behind Gasho, Hamilton is 3 behind Rossi. And Rossi really is starting to get in the thick of it with back markers. That was an easy move there. I'll hit the right camera button at the second. That's my finger's slightly wrong side. I'll blame being kind of slightly sleepy like last time again, but I'm not as tired as Hamilton. Really has to check up as Mansell is just like weaving across the apex there. Not what you want to see on prime time television. Heidfeld now is up to Jensen Button's coming in, so Heidfeld's up to 11th. Quite a few drivers making seemingly tactical pit stops rather than fuel stops. So Inoue is joining right behind Kobayashi, not Kobayashi, even Felix da Costa. Yeah, more drivers are coming into the pits this lap, which was not what I was expecting, as Verstappen now has got past Phil Hill. Hill must have lost a load of time behind Inoue somehow. But at the front seems to not be having to make one of these ghost pit stops. Button's coming in this lap as well, and Brabham. Who knows what this is all about, but teams have gone for it, so I suppose we just let them do it. Perhaps this set of tyres just isn't that great, and they want to put a new pair on, or a new set even, because there's 4, and 4 isn't a pair. Pair of pairs. A pair of pairs sounds like 2 bits of fruit. So, who knows English? You either understand it, or you don't. And for most people it's done, even if you are native speakers. So Rossi's got there to watch as, I think that was, it must have been David Brad next in the pits. Right behind, yeah, 17th place. Hakkinen now has made it up into the points with all this speed. It's the Costa and then he's coming in this lap. Maybe this is all just tactical. Someone has pitted and everyone else has thought, oh, why don't we try that? See if we can make it to the end from here. Watson has lost a lot of time being lapped by the race leader. Braden tries to send up the inside of Watson and gets the move done pretty early. Four and a half seconds is the gap back between Rossi and Hamilton, so Hamilton has also got a load of back marks to deal with, so really unless something cruel or ironic happens, Rossi has got this in the bag at the moment. I'll see what happens during the pit stops. I mean, Rossi might be running a lot lighter than Hamilton, so we'll have to do a longer pit stop, but it's looking pretty comfortable as it stands. Vettel's got to put a lap on Felix da Costa, which he does. Then comes around the old hairpin. The NLE has worked together really well now to get themselves up in 7th and 8th. There's some good points on the board on the way. And the NLE kind of slowly starting to drag themselves back into this score. Make themselves a point scoring outfit which they can utilise to get back towards the top that they spent so much of last season on. Constructors and Drivers' Champion, of course. I haven't seen them in the gravel for a while. So they're all doing a good job keeping it on track, and they're getting close and battling each other there. Staying calm about it. Backmarkers aren't as... okay, Damon Hill's lost his rear wing, so I need to shut up basically, as it's Heidfeld's hitting now. Oh, Heidfeld just drifted into Hill on the next of the planes. It's not what he wanted to see. Senna's coming in for his stop soon. Fangio trying to get past Watson. Going off and then Hackman up to 13th in all of this. Heidfeld calling around in 10th place, he's got to come into the pits this lap. Where's this going to drop him? Well, they can fill up with fuel, change the tyres and go to the end. That's at least something. He makes it in just fine. There's no way he's going to get passed back into the top 10 before this. Senna goes into the pits and holds up Mansell in the process. Harper exits the pits in 18th. Doesn't get hit by Mansell as they go through. Beloff really putting pressure on Watson now. Five-second lead Rossi has over Hamilton. And actually, Vettel is catching up to Gasher here. The back markers holding up the Polestar. And Vettel here, if Mansell gets... No, okay, Mansell completely ruins my sentence as I'm halfway through it. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it, don't you? You're about to make a really useful point, something that will inform and entertain, and then a backmarker just does GF8 backmarker things, and that's square one, but 1.4 seconds now to get the third place. And we'll wait our other tyre pit stoppers, because some people are sequence and I didn't pay any attention to who he was and who hadn't pitted, and you know, just some extra pit stops happened and then suddenly everyone was doing it. But then it wasn't actually everyone. I don't know. Jensen Button having a chance here to have a move on Hackman. Power differential between these two is phenomenal, but Hackman just parks on the apex. Button is 2/10 now behind Hackman. I think this is the kind of thing that's doable. As the rest of his Hackman's run a bit wide there, he's got a twitch on the curb. And Button is through on the extra coppice, so some of the move there is actually there having to prepare for the fact that they're about to be lapped by the race leader. Yeah, Rossi's put a move there on Brabham. There's a catch up to Hackman now for head. Button needs to use this as an opportunity to streak away. Phil Hill has got past Max Verstappen somewhere. It's happened while I wasn't paying attention, or not paying attention, that's what we're going to leave it as. Yeah, no, it's not, that's happened too soon ago. Tied for now, 2 places away from the points. Although I don't know how many guys in front of got to pit and if they're going to appear behind him or not. 19th and 20th for DTK Racing, 3 seconds between them. Not really what the team wanted really, although I think Hoy definitely has to pit stop again, fingers crossed, but maybe not. But not much anyone else can do about that. Mansell, Gurney, Perez. There's Damon Hill, 26, still last remaining driver. I mean, there's 2 drivers so far in this track, which was actually bedlam last year. Hard for them butt off. Fangio now has been lapped by Lewis Hamilton in 2nd place. Let's just see what the leads groups are. So Villeneuve has got 6 seconds to Moss, who's got 2 seconds to Vettel, who's 1.7 behind Gasher, who's starting to run low on fuel. 6 seconds up to Hamilton and 6 seconds up to Rossi, so Rossi's just getting the power down now, starting to pull ahead. Just what you need. Yeah, so Hamilton's getting a bit low. Gasher is coming into the pits this lap, so Gasher was the first person to pit last time and he used the pit window pretty well as he got past Vettel. Vettel's close to pitting, so he'll probably do it next lap. Gasher just starting to prepare, he's even defending from Vettel already. He's going to head into the hairpin. Gasher makes it into the pit box. Across the line, doesn't look like he's pitting yet. But the rest of the leaders are getting close. Of course, Rossi and Hamilton pitted together last time. Will they do it again this time, although they're not going to be put together side by side? Gasho exits pits in 6th and is almost driven into by Flourish. In fact, he has to get off the brakes and Flourish goes through, so Gasho is down into 7th now. He's well ahead of Phil Hill and Max Verstappen. Newey is miles back in 10th place, so that's nothing to worry about. Frost is coming in this lap. It's hard for us to get back of the Angelo Beloff train as they've got Hamilton actually a lap up ahead. There's Beloff up the inside of Fangio into the final hairpin. Good move there. Ross is coming in, so yeah, Ross is coming in, Hamilton's coming in, Vettel, Moss, Villeneuve. Top 5 all pitting this lap. Top 5 all pitting here at the end of lap 57, with 20 laps to go. See how many of them make it to the pits. That's the first thing we need to be worried about. Into the hairpin. Out the normal hairpin. Down this final corner. And then Chino Rossi says, into the pits we must go, E-I-E-I-O. Rossi makes it in, Hamilton round the outside of Beloff, trying to put a lap on the German, but instead makes it into the stop. Vettel around the final corner, he makes it in, Moss gets in as well, and Villeneuve. Could be a pretty decent stop here. Well, Hill's coming in this lap, so is Verstappen going to be released? Gasho is going to exit the pits, well ahead of Vettel and Moss. Flash up to third, where Prince is on the mark. Hamilton's been destroyed by backmarkers again and again and again. Gasho trying to get past Perez, which is not really great. They're trying to do a stomping out lap, although Vettel's fallen back. Verstappen is now there. Moss got Verstappen between him and Vettel, the driver who wants to race. Still there's a no man's land, and the Newey is still in 9th. Oh, was happening Sam's front wing? No, it wasn't. Really still just about going. Marsh will surely be putting soon. Vettel's got an enormous queue behind him of Moss, Verstappen and, well, himself, and then Senna the back marker as well, joining in the fun. Anybody else looking to pick this lap? So Watson's coming in, Mansell's coming in. We've got a yellow flag. Who's stopped or crashed or broken down? No, it's John Watson. No, Watson's run out of fuel. Oh, he was doing so good for 2KF1. The power disadvantage this team has isn't quite as pronounced here at Donington Park. It's all that cornering, which they also don't have. But, oh, it's all gone wrong for Watson. Does mean Mika Hakkinen 21st is their last remaining hope to score a point. a point, that's all too careful. I mean, obviously they want more, but a point would be fantastic for a team that hasn't scored any since the first race of the season. So anything we appreciate for the team. We're currently sat in 20th with Hacker, as Mansell goes into pits in front of him. Hacker doesn't need to get promoted into 19th. Chris Hoy's probably have to pit again. Don't really think anyone else is going to have to go in. Verstappen a bit low on fuel now, so he's going to make his stop pretty soon. Flush is coming in this lap. Trying the ultimate strategy in an emo sport. Flash will be enjoying this, having a chance to run in podium positions. Up into third place, but with pit stops being the reason this happened, you can understand why. It's a flash in the pan more than anything. To the final corner, Flash makes things to pits. So Gasher rejoins or retakes third place, thanks to that. Patel's going to go back up in fourth. Staffen, surely he's got to come in this lap, he does. Flash is excellent, currently in ninth, and Niue's going to come across the line there, taking 8th place, so Flash is now ninth. Phil Hill's go too far back here. Flash be safe for Phil Hill, right? Saying that, nah, Flash is safe. Flash is good. Staff running a bit low on fuel now. Half a lap to go. He makes it in himself. And the pressure from Sterling Moss this whole way. Moss takes his pitch right behind, and he's right behind Vettel when he both pitted. Both exited, but Dutchman gets in the way. And it's a race unravelled. Staffin's final corner is going to make it. So Rossi at a 10-second lead pretty much. Verstappen's going to drop back. Everybody's kind of on their own at the moment, it would seem. Andrew's a bit close to Hyper, but Hyper's going to pull away. Chris Hoy's making his stop soon. Rose and Senna playing together. Here's the last remaining car. So I think we'll just ride it with Button and Verstappen pretty close, Hill and Flirsch are close-ish. We're on board with Jensen Button for a couple of laps. Not much has changed then. Taki Nui is trying to lap Michael Schumacher here into the old hairpin, but pretty sorted. Look like some fun with back markers. Let's see who it was. Mansell is retired. Nigel Mansell is out this race. Sorry for missing that in the last couple of laps. Is this going to be fuel related or is it engine? Let's hope it's engine. Something. Was there a crash? I don't know. We'll eventually rewind and find out. Oh, it's a crash that's down at the Melbourne hairpin. So he's braked into Melbourne. Oh, he's lost it. Yeah, the brakes didn't like that. And bang. Brake failure takes Birmingham's finest out the race. Oh no. Bang. Well, when your brakes go like that on the biggest braking points, there isn't really much you can do, unfortunately, and, well, Mansell found that out, so it's another retirement for George GP car. The other one is sat in last place, 3 laps down on the leader and now holding up the tail. It really has been a disaster. Schumacher's making his pit stop, his hopefully final pit stop. Senna, Perez and Chris Hoy here battling for 20th place. Perez going to have to pit soon, as will probably Dan Gurney because they pitted at the same time with damage. Felix Cross is 17th and Prost is the latest driver to be lapped. And there's a big gap up ahead to Fangio, so Fangio might just have to make it to the end of this race without being lapped, which I'm sure he'd love to have it as an achievement, I suppose. Harvey at 14th now. Yeah, right, so pit stops are all kind of happening, everyone's shaking themselves out. Let's kind of do another rundown with the drivers. So Valentino Rossi, been a pretty stonking drive so far. He's up into first off the line. He stayed there. He's held off Hamilton when he was battling in the first stint, and when he was afforded a gap after Hamilton was ruined in as he exited the pits into a big group of battling cars. Rossi hasn't looked back. Hamilton, of course, pole sitter, so he's got that bonus point, but he'd love the win. He really would. His teammates got 2. He's only got the 1. But it's another strong show for Cass Racing as it stands. Gasho is up to 3rd place and 6th on the grid, so Polestar looking to get back on the podium. Haven't been up there since Argentina, so Gasho looking for his 3rd podium to try and reinvigorate his title challenge. But Vettel is looking to score his 1st podium and Harvey's 1st since Brazil, so he's not going to keep Gasho calm. Now it's going to be close as this gets towards the close of this race with 11 laps to go. Moss from 7th is up into 5th, so again another one of the drivers quite high in the championship. He's only had 1 podium this year, but Red Knight's aim was to get a podium and they got in 2nd place, so Moss will be hoping for a bit more. Gilles Villeneuve in 6th, up from 9th on the grid. Another strong show from Bavera as the team are kind of getting back into this now. And they're way up from 11th into 7th. I mean, it seems like a decent drive, but when you're a championship leader and had some dominant drive, this isn't really enough. And, you know, he was ahead of Moss and Villeneuve at one point, but now he's 14 seconds behind Sterling Moss, and he's not exactly done anything to do that except just be slow. No other way to put it, he's just been slow. And this is what's happened. Sophia Flörsch up 10 places into 8th place, so German having a spectacular drive here, heading down the Craners. And Phil Hill in 9th for Excelsior. Again, he had a great start, got himself into 9th early on, and he stayed there. He's been up and down a bit, but 9th is a brilliant result for Excelsior if it can stand. Max Verstappen up into 10th. I mean, that's good from 14th on the grid, but his teammates overtaking him. Jenson Button has been dropping down the order and he finds himself in 11th from 8th on the grid while his teammates up there battling for the podium. Bradman's 12th, it's kind of, that's where he started and that's where he's going to finish really. Beloff has had another battle in the bottom reaches. This was the driver who was on the podium last week. It's not quite been as impressive here as it was last time. Beloff, but points. Highfield only up 2 places. Former championship leader, double race winner, 4-time pole sitter. He's had some incidents in this race and he's still going to scrape some points if it stays like this, so that's something. Banjo in 15th. Climbed a bit, he's doing okay, but could do better. Prost is a lap down in 16th. Felix da Costa 17th. With Hacker in 18th, so DTK and 2KF1 staying at the points as his Falcon. Chris Hoy 19th. A race of what should have been really. Front wing went disappearing early on. It's had more chaos as the race has gone on and it's just a disaster really for the DTK driver. Senna's down in 20th, just a general lack of pace. Bit of a spin early on, but nothing much afterwards. Dan Gurney in 21st, lost his rear wing, fighting Sergio Perez. Talking of Perez, here he is in 22nd. Michael Schumacher's battling his Bangalore teammate, but bad luck has struck them so often. And Damon Hill in 24th is our last remaining runner, and it's just spent this entire time staring at blue flags. As now Villeneuve gets past him again. Lance had a brake failure, was ran out of fuel, Kilroy actually ran out of fuel, and Jim Clark also went off at the Melbourne hairpin. As here we go, so some backmarkers. Moss is closed right up behind both Vettel and Gasho, so this here, battling for 3rd place, with just over 8 laps to go. This is hotting right up now. Any one of these 3 could take the podium. That is really straight lines, the excellent foggy LTSs. As Moss is right on the back of them. Moss closes right up on, he always pushes better around the corner. As they head through, they're all starting to come up to lap Mika Hakkinen. He's next, and 3 of them are going to be trying to work out who's going to get ruined by that, if anyone. Looks like Moss is closer to Vettel than Vettel is to Gasho at the moment, so Vettel needs to be checking his mirrors at the moment. Maybe a lap or 2 away from catching Hakkinen. He's just kind of far enough up ahead at the moment that they're not getting interfered with yet. We'll look behind from Bertrand Gasho. Oh, it was a bit slow off the corner. As they really concertina up into the Melbourne hairpin. Nothing doing so far. As we streak off down the pit straight into turn 1. Moss is close, Vettel is close. I think Moss is closer as it stands, so we'll just... oh no, hopefully I went the right way. Right on board with Sterling Moss for the moment as he tries to work out a way past Vettel. Vettel defending is allowing Gasho to get that breathing space back. It's 3/10 ahead to Vettel, but further 6/10 to Gasho, so it shows you that the gap's about double. And I can also see that the Flemish Hill Verstappen battle is pretty much just as close. Oh, Moss loses it there, so lift off on the X, the fog of the S's. Return one they go. I don't think we're going to see a move that imminently. Verstappen is right on the tail of Hill Hill. Verstappen, I think, pitted late, so he's got the newer tyres, which will certainly help him. He's got to get past Hill. Just lean on the tyres slightly more if he wants to get through. It's Taki and Nui. Yeah, so Inui's early pit stop really didn't work out because he's going to have to pit again. But I think that was Vettel getting passed by Moss. It was. That's what I was trying to get up to see, because I could see they were together, but then Inui's low fuel distracted me. So they're all kind of together, but Moss just gets a brilliant exit and dummies Vettel one way, goes up the inside, and the Brit passes the German at the final corner, standing Moss up to 4th place. So, can he? Oh no, 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 no! Siggy Pop, Rossi, he's leading the race, and I think his engine has just barbecued itself. No way! Are we going to have a double DNF for Siggy Pop? We are. Oh, squeaky bum time takes out Rossi. Engine has completely exploded. Valentino Rossi. Absolutely spectacular dominant drive. His engine goes pretty much at the exact point squeaky bum time begins. Heartbreak for Siggy Pop. Jim Clark's retired. Now Rossi's retired. And Lewis Hamilton is going to take the lead here for Cash Racing, despite not looking like he had the pace for it at all. So this puts Gash up into 2nd, Moss into 3rd, now Vettel's in 4th, Villeneuve up to 5th. In the way he's going to see that and go, yes! Oh no, I've got to pit again. So yeah, you can't rest on your laurels, you have to cross the line to finish first. First you must finish, and Siggy Pop, unfortunately, have just found out the hard way again that that's the case. Beloff, Fangio, there's a load of drivers here who are going to have to low on fuel, they'll probably have to pit again. So perhaps, well yeah, because Frost is going to get promoted into the points, Felix da Costa is going to be on the brink and the Hackman's going to be close. Dan Gurney here having a look at Chris Hoy. Gurney gets past Hoy. Well done to him. Yeah, look. Fangio has got to pit. Beloff has got to pit. Brabham's got to pit. Button. Inoue is pitting this lap, so 4 laps to go. And that's at least 5 drivers are suddenly having to make pit stops for fuel because they pitted too early. Well, I was not expecting that to happen. I mean, when they were started pitting, I thought that's a bit strange, it seems a bit early, but why would so many of them do it this early? Is Moss here having a look at Gashos? Starting Moss. Moss climbs up to 2nd. Easy move at the inside of Melbourne. And now Vettel, is he going to send one past Gasho? But no, he's not. So Gasho keeping podium as it stands at the moment. And Rossi's retirement is of course South Africa 2nd and 3rd, so only one of the, assuming nothing happens to them of course, only one of these 3 isn't going to get on the podium, so they want this. And of course, squeaky bum time, if it takes Hamilton out, this is the battle for the win. So we're getting a bit close here now. Hamilton's lead is 13 seconds, he just needs to look after that car and get it to the end of the race. Hill's close up to 6th now, Hill 7th, Verstappen 8th, so Button is pitting at the end of this lap. Inoue is exiting the pits from his 10th place. As Brabham pits from 11th, Hardford goes through into 11th, and he's going to get past anyway. He is. Hardford gets past Taki anyway, and I don't think he was expecting that after the start he had to suddenly find himself ahead of the championship leader. So Hardford's going to get points on Inoue, but will Hamilton become championship leader? I don't know. Inoue comes out 11th. Prost has now overtaken David Brabham, who's now going to have to get out of the way of Hamilton. Then off we've got Felix da Costa. Felix da Costa's now got fuel warning, so is he going to have to pit? Like on the last lap? You know, it's Fangio's 17th, Hakkinen 17th. Gurney, Hoy, Senna, Perez, Schumacher, and there's the unfortunate Rossi. If Damon Hill still hasn't actually got past Rossi, he's that far behind. Checking the track, okay, everyone seems to still be going at the moment. So, there's some dust up ahead. Bradmere now having a really good look at Prost now for 12th place. The Inoue and Hardford, this is going to be a scrap for the ages. And actually, Button's got through, but up ahead, Sterling Moss has dropped behind both of them. And where has Moss been passed by... Oh, it's happened earlier. So Moss was in second place, and now both Gasher and Vettel have got past. So has there been some contact? Has Moss made a mistake? Oh, he's gone off at the hairpin. That's a completely unforced error. Sterling Moss has run wide at the final corner. He's lucky to just scrape off the wall. Moss has lost so much time now, as Vettel and Gasher are now battling it out for second place. Moss hasn't got long to get back and get position. Hamilton's lead, Gasher, Vettel, Moss, Villeneuve, Russia, Verstappen, Hardford and Inoue is now 9th to 10th as Button's dropped down to 11th. Prost and Brabham still battling for 12th. Beloff is behind the race leader. Felix da Costa is going to have to pit. He is going to cross the line to pit, but I think it might actually be the last lap, so he'll cross the line and finish in the pit. Yes, it is. So Hamilton has got half a lap to go. It's not. He wasn't quite expecting to win this, I don't think. He was hoping to, but Rossi was too quick for him. But with just four corners to go, just got to navigate some back markers. Hoping it's squeaky one, but the back markers are not helping themselves or helping him as Beloff uses that to get a cheeky move on David Brabham there. Beloff actually got the inside of Hamilton into the hairpin. So Beloff unlaps himself on Lewis Hamilton. Brabham's going to try and get through. But it's all a bit fruitless. So Lewis Hamilton's going to make it 4 wins in a row for the Cass Racing team. They are marching away towards the Constructors' title. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix for Cass Racing. Bertrand Gachot is just about going to hold off on second place. Sebastian Vettel taking third, and Sterling Moss throwing away what could have been Red Knight's second podium. How unfortunate. Gilles Villeneuve, he takes fifth place, sorry. Sophia Flörsch, he's going to come around to take 6th place, so 2 6th places in a row. NLE Motorsport, they're back and they're looking strong. Verstappen takes 7th, he's got past Phil Hill somewhere. Inoue is 9th because he's got past Hardfeld. Taki Inoue, he has managed to get past Nick Hardfeld and put more points ahead of him. So first and second pulling away from third in the championship. Rossi and Clark of course disappeared. Hardford takes 10th. Button's going to come across the line in 11th. Prost 12th. Beloff 13th. David Brabham takes the lap 14th and Fangio takes the last points in 15th. Mika Hakkinen once again is 1 place away from the points in 16th place. Felix da Costa is late, he's pitched up on the last lap, means he crossed the line 17th. Gurney 18th, Hoy 19th is a double non-points for BTK again. Senna takes 20th, Perez 21st, Schumacher 22nd, Damon Hill 23rd has an absolute mare of a race. Rossi, Mansell, Watson, Kobayashi and Clark the non-finishers. Well, that has been the British Grand Prix of Global Formula Automobilista Season 2. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment below if you have anything that you think I need to know. If you're new to this championship and think, oh, this seems fun, I want to join in, follow the link in the description, it takes you to the RaceDepartment thread, which we use to sign up for this championship. Got 28 cars on the grid, maximum of 32 for racing, but we can have more teams if we need to, and we'll just have some pre-qualifying. So if you're interested in joining, please feel free to come along and join in the fun, and can't wait to see you. So this has been the British Grand Prix. Thank you very much, and goodbye.